Released in September of this year, the game Astrobot has become one of the best reviewed games of 2024 so far, and it's been confirmed that it's going to be getting additional levels with new speed levels and new challenge levels, introducing even more Astrobot PlayStation inspired characters. But today what I wanted to go through is I wanted to make a top 10 of my favourite levels from Astrobot. So there's a little bit of admin here. So first off, these are levels that are in the base game, so any additional levels won't be included. So this obviously covers potential future releases of new levels. And the other bit of admin is this will be focusing on the main types of levels. So this will not include speed levels, challenge levels, or most importantly, it will not include boss battle levels. So this will be primary levels which you find in the 6 galaxies. Now the two levels I will be reviewing in this is the base levels and the character inspired levels, like the end of galaxy levels. So yes, now that I've got the admin out of the way, it's time to get into the list and see what is what. Before I get into the main video itself, I wanted to go through some honourable mentions. So these are 2 levels which I did enjoy, but I felt like they didn't quite make the cut to be in my top 10 favourites. So these 2 levels are Fan Club. So this, I believe, is the only main level which features the fan mechanic. So basically you hold down R2, it retracts the fan, and then you can use it as a bit of a jumping pad. And the other one was Helio Glitch Pyramid. So this is the one which introduces the, I believe it's the rollerball or cannonball type mechanic. So this one I enjoyed mainly because of the idea of just rolling around a little cannon type cannonball, and also it's set in ancient Egypt, which I've always had a little bit of a soft spot for. So those are the 2 honourable mentions. Number 10 on this list is the level Turtles in Trash. So with this one really stood out to me mainly because of some of the mechanics and because of the kind of theme of the level. So as someone that is kind of interested in the state of the environment, this one was definitely a fun level for me because it helped, well, the purpose of this was to help effectively clean the oceans and help the turtles. The mechanic in this is also quite fun because you've also got the wind capture device, which you can use by rotating the controller. So that can help capture rubbish from the ocean. It can also help capture projectiles as well. You've also got the what I'm going to call the grind rails. That's probably not its correct name, but I'll just use it for the sake of this video because I think that might pop up a couple of times in this video. You've also got what I like to call the duck weapon. So when you pick this up, it basically projects a whole bunch of water, which you can use to defeat the muck-based enemies. As far as I know from the main levels, I think this only appears in one other bonus level, and I think that's the pirate one, if I'm correct. This mechanic does also appear in a couple of speed levels as well, which one of them I did find quite annoying, I'm not going to lie. But yes, I do like the environment in this. It is, for me, a very fun level design. It's also got a tiny bit of a sub-boss at the end, with a little bit of a garbage mound, I think it's technically supposed to be. But yes, really like the setting for this, did like the mechanics, and yeah, really enjoyed the theme of this as well. So that's why I'm putting it at number 10 on this list. Number 9 on this list is Final Encore. So this is a tiny bit of a spoiler, I'm not going to lie, but Final Encore is the last of the bonus levels which you will unlock in the Lost Galaxy. So this is unlocked by completing all of the bonus levels in the galaxy, and then this appears right in the middle. For me, this one I enjoyed for a couple of reasons. Firstly, as far as I know, this is the only level which features what I'm going to call the sound monkey. So this works basically, you press the R2, you press R2 on the controller, and it manipulates sound, and it can move platforms, can rotate things around, and also fire some cannons as well. So this for me is definitely a unique mechanic. Bit of a spoiler, you'll probably hear the phrase unique mechanic quite a bit in this list. But yeah, this was definitely a fun addition. Just the idea of moving platforms about with sound, and also certain enemies as well is sound affected as well, such as the I'm not sure what it's actually called, but yeah, some of the instrument enemies, like you move around by hitting by using the device. But yes, I found that quite a fun concept. The animations is pretty fun as well, to be honest. But yes, so fun enemies. I also like the party atmosphere as well, which is appropriate considering it is technically the last level you'll do overall in the game. So yeah, I really much enjoyed it. And the other thing about Astrobot is the soundtrack is very good as well. A lot of these levels do have a really enjoyable soundtrack. And yeah, so there's not too much else I need to say actually, really. So I really like the mechanic. The level design is fun. Some of the enemies are pretty neat. And yeah, that's why I'm putting Final Encore at number 9 on this list. Number 8 is Go Ape Lago. I do apologise if I'm pronouncing that slightly wrong, but that's not the easiest word for me to say. So this one I've put on this list mainly because I believe this is the only level, main level wise, which features what I'm going to call the Grab Monkey. So the Grab Monkey, is there a better name for that? Yeah, you'll get what I mean in the footage. So this is a return. I think this might be the only returning mechanic, I think, from Astro's Playroom. So this works by using L2 and R2 to basically grapple onto a couple of hook points, or grapple points, that sounds better. And you have to move the controller around to move your character. Which, yeah, that was one of the... I think for Astro's Playroom, that was one of the more challenging mechanics. But what Astrobot does, it takes that mechanic and also adds some additional ones, such as the ability to throw boulders as well, which I think is quite neat. And also it can manipulate stuff around you, like you can slam things onto the ground and like trees will drop, and you can open doors and that type of thing, which I find quite a fun mechanic. And also just the fact that this is I believe the only main level in the game that features this mechanic. I generally did enjoy this level. I also enjoyed the mini boss at the end as well. Admittedly, it took a few attempts to work out what I was supposed to do without getting myself shot by his cannon. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this level. There is a couple of pirate-themed levels in the game, admittedly. There's also one in Lost Galaxy. But for me, this was probably the one I enjoyed the most. And yeah, I like the setting and I like the mechanic. And that's why, for me, it is number 8 on this list. Number 7 is the level Boxall Bus Stop. So I will admit, the main reason this level is on the list is because it's kind of a retro throwback level. So the whole design of this level is that it's cube-based, so the enemies are cube-based, like the levels, the chests. Yeah, it's even the coins are different design. Some of the enemies are also quite unique as well, such as the hover enemies. You've got to like manually take apart in order to destroy them. So yeah, I found this to be a really enjoyable concept. Now, yes, before you ask, I know there is a lot of bonus levels which feature this type of mechanic, such as the retro throwback mini levels. But like I said at the start of this list, I would only be including main levels, so bonus levels would not be included. So that's why I wanted to include this one on the list, because I really enjoyed the pixel levels in the game. Also, some of the mechanics as well I found quite nice. I believe this is the only level on this list, I believe, that has the dog rocket cannon, which can basically, well, tear apart a lot of stuff. It's also got retracting walls as well, which if you don't move quickly enough or don't position your character right, can also actually be a surprising challenge. So you have to get the timings right as well on that. Yeah, that was definitely one of the more annoying things on the speed challenge levels, was that. But yeah, I just like the concept of the level. Like kind of the retro throwback. The dog-based cannon makes things makes things fun with the block type things, and yeah, just a level which I really enjoyed. Yeah, not much else to say really. Like I like the dog cannon in this level, and just the pixel-based nature of this level. That's why for me it was number 7 on this list. Number 6 is the level Spooky Time. So there is a couple of ghost-based levels in Astrobot. There is a couple in Lost Galaxy, I believe. But for me, this is probably my favourite of the ghost-based levels. So this one introduces a new mechanic, which I found very fun, but I'll get to that in a little bit later. This one also has probably, I don't know, maybe my favourite pick-up mechanic in the game, and that is the time stop ability. So this basically is when you press R2, it basically stops time for a limited duration, like a stopwatch. This is a key part of the mechanic of the level, mainly because it helps you build platforms. It can also help you with stopping the ghosts being quite annoying. Basically keeping the gate open at the beginning. The time stopper ability also helps with dealing with multiple enemies as well. And yeah, I really like the idea of just being able to slow time. Like dangerous weapons now become weapons which you can just walk past and also use as platforms, which I found quite fun. The other mechanic in this is the light bar mechanic. I'm not sure if it's actually called that, but that's what I'm just going to call it. So the purpose of that is it basically creates area of light, and combine that with the time stop ability, gives you creatable platforms which you can walk on. So yeah, combining those two, it is really fun. Admittedly, the ending can be a bit challenging if you don't get your footing right, but yeah, this is a level which I thoroughly enjoyed, and yeah, not much else to say really. I like the time stopper mechanic, the light bar. This is where I believe it first gets introduced. I could be wrong about that. It's been a few weeks since I first played Astrobot. But yes, I just enjoyed this level as a whole really, and that's why it is number 6 on this list. Number 5 on this list is the level Dude Raiding. So this is the first, but not the last, of the PlayStation inspired levels that will be on this list, and this one is based on the Uncharted franchise. So the concept of these levels is basically you get given a device or a weapon by the character of this level, and you basically become sort of a version of that character. And with this one, you get given Nathan Drake's pistol, and yes, it's definitely a fun mechanic. So basically, I believe it's shooting like gumballs or pinballs or something like that. I'm going to say gumballs, looking at the design. So yeah, it definitely helps take out enemies really quickly. And this level does actually have a decent amount of enemies which you need to take out. Also, there are some in awkward positions as well, so that's what makes this mechanic quite fun. You've also got some explorer type mechanics, such as the swinging ropes, which... yeah, I know that's been in a couple of other games, but for Uncharted it does feel appropriate. The gun is also used for clearing out some walls as well, such as with TNT enemies. Yeah, and also helps clear some routes as well of certain enemies, which is quite good. The concept of these levels is basically you have to retrieve a certain item at the end of it. However, to avoid spoilers, I'm not going to say what it is. But I will say at the end of each of these PlayStation inspired levels, apart from the roller one, actually, I think that might be the only one that doesn't have a boss. Yeah, I think that's right, actually. So these levels will feature kind of a mini boss battle at the end. With Uncharted, it's basically you have to escape a certain scenario. Also, the one thing I did forget to mention is Nathan's ability to use the pistol also means that he can destroy projectiles as well, and there is quite a few in this level, and so that is quite an important mechanic. So yes, enjoyable mechanic. The level design itself is quite enjoyable as well. Like makes you feel like it does make you feel like it is Uncharted. In fairness, these levels, like the PlayStation-inspired levels, do make you feel like that. So, yeah. And that's probably all I have to say, really. So, enjoyable level, good mechanics, and for me, it's number 5 on this list. Number 4 on this list is the level Bot of War, inspired by God of War. There's quite a few letters which sounded like 4 in that, which is also appropriate because 4 is a character in God of War. Yeah, I'm going to stop now. So this is another one of the character-inspired levels. I believe this is I think this is the second one you come across in the game. So this one you get Stormbreaker from Kratos, and it is definitely a fun mechanic for sure. So this gives you the ability to freeze enemies. And yeah, so it gives you the ability to freeze enemies and freeze structures around. And it's definitely a fun mechanic, for sure. So the concept of this is basically you have to navigate through like a frozen area. And this axe is super strong. Like some of the enemies in this would normally take a couple of hits, but this one, bang, the axe destroys him in one. It is pretty powerful, let's say that. Just to give you an idea, it's like the golden shield enemies. So in the game you'd have to use, I believe, the dog rocket for that one. But with this, you just fling the axe and bang, they're dead. The other advantage with the axe, of course, is that you can throw it to long distances. So it can basically just destroy a whole load of enemies, which is definitely a fun mechanic. One thing which I forgot to mention actually in the Uncharted level is these levels do also have some secret mechanics as well. I'm not going to say what it is because, well, if someone wants to play this level, I'm not going to spoil it. But yeah, there is a little bit of Easter eggs when it comes to there is a little bit of Easter egg based stuff when it comes down to these levels, which I find quite unique compared to the other levels. As with the Uncharted level, this also does have a mini boss battle. This one is probably more straightforward, I think, than the Uncharted one. But yeah, it's still a decent little boss battle, I think. But yes, enjoyable level, good mechanic, and for me, it's number 4 on this list. Number 3 on this list is the level Downsize Surprise. So this one is on this list because for me this features definitely one of the most unique mechanics in the game. This one features the mouse ability, aka the shrink ability, and as far as I know this is not in any other level, whether it be bonus level or main level in the game. I think this is the only one that this mechanic is in, so this definitely makes it immediately a very unique mechanic. So, as you can tell, the mechanic basically turns you into the size of sort of the size of a mouse, but it could be smaller. Yeah, so a lot of the world is kind of shrunk down, really. You've still got areas which require you to be normal size, but a lot of it requires you to be shrunk, like the picture stuff, some of the puzzles, like the captured enemies. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of stuff which require the shrink ability. This also, for me, is, I don't know, it has a charm about it. Like, the fact that it's like kind of a mouse-themed level, I don't know, it's got a charm to it for me, this level. Like, that makes it quite fun. Just running around like a mouse. Yeah, I don't know why, it's just a really fun concept for me. I don't have a, yeah, just to say, all of the mechanics in Astrobot are definitely unique. Like, each of them have their own distinctive point. The only one I don't think I've put on this list actually is I think the only one I've missed out is the chicken rocket. I think that is the only one. Oh, and the punch glove. I think those two are the only ones which I've not put on this list. But it's not necessarily against those. It's just I enjoyed other levels more. But yes, the level itself is also well designed as well. Like, it's got water elements, which I found to be quite fun. It's got grind rails, but they're styled like washing lines, which I found that quite funny. It's also got the ability to effectively wake someone up in a bed by climbing into it as a mouse and then activating the normal size ability, which that's quite funny. And yes, it's also got something which I don't think I've seen elsewhere, and that's there's a water bubble ability. So basically, you shrink, then you go into a bubble. It takes you up to the surface, and a bit of a spoiler, that's how you actually get the Lost Galaxy level from this level. But yes, really enjoyable mechanic. Really liked the level design, and that's why it's number 3 on this list. Taking the runners-up spot on this list, at number 2, we have the level Lunar Solar. So for me, this is my favourite of the standard levels in Astrobot. It's not my favourite outright, but we'll get to that in a minute. So for me, this features probably, I'd say, my favourite concept in Astrobot. It's not actually a concept which you actually pick up. It's actually something which is based on the level itself. And the concept is night and day, hence the name Lunar Solar. So the concept of this level is basically you got some parts of the level which are completed in daytime and some which are completed in nighttime. Also, night and day, they feel it feels like they've got different themes about them. This also features the return of the light bar as well. So either light bulb, not light bar. I made that mistake earlier. But yeah, it's just a really fun concept. Also, the other thing about this level is whenever you're in different times of day, like night and day, the music is also different as well. So it keeps each level, it keeps each of them having a distinct theme about them. I think I got that right. Yeah, it's just really enjoyable level to play. Overall, to be honest, if I had to pick one level which I had the most fun playing, this one might be number 1 on the list, to be honest. I know it's number 2 on the list, but that's for more of a sentimental reason, but I'll say that in a minute. But yeah, there are definitely some areas which I really enjoyed, such as the electric, what I'm calling the electric roundabout, the musical jump pads. Yeah, it's just really fun, the whole concept of this. Also, as it turns out, my 2 favourite levels are in the same galaxy. Not sure if that probably wasn't intentional, but it just worked out that way. So, because I've said that, you can probably work out what the next one is, and I might as well just say what it is. And by wrapping up by saying, fun level, probably my favourite concept in the game, and that's why Lunar Sun is my runner-up on my favourite Astrobot levels. Number 1 on this list is the level Machine Learning. So yeah, this is easily the level I was most anticipated for going into Astrobot. The weird thing is, actually, the longer I played Astrobot, I was actually starting to get worried that there wasn't going to be a Horizon level. And when it came, oh boy, did it deliver in spades for me. So yeah, so this is based on the Horizon franchise, and of course Aloy is the main character in this. So in this, you will pick up Aloy's crossbow, and it's one of the more unique mechanics in the game, that's for sure. Because this one actually features stuff which is a little bit like Aloy herself. So you've got the scan ability, which basically shows you, well, not necessarily scan, but shows you like the holographic pictures which Aloy would see using a focus. It also features the slowdown mechanic as well, which is in the games themselves, which I found quite cool. You've also got the arrow spam ability, which helps with projectiles, and some of the level parts also require the crossbow as well. But for me, the thing that puts it over the edge is the attention to detail. It's the music. First off, it's the music, which is basically a remix of Aloy's theme, which, I mean, immediately that puts it in the top 5, to be honest, because that's one of my all-time favourite themes from soundtracks is Aloy's theme. So yes, having another one of those is a great reason immediately to have this level. But the attention to detail as well, because you've also got it's set in San Francisco, so the level starts with you going through the Golden Gate Bridge and past the Tallneck, which is pretty neat. You've also got some references to the games as well, such as there's a whole bunch of what I'm calling holograph characters, which are based around kind of rubble, I guess you could say. So that's arguably a reference to Zero Dawn as well, because I think one of the key scenes in Zero Dawn is kind of the office. So yeah, I found that really enjoyable. The other thing as well about this level is the boss battle. So I know that at the start of this video I said I wasn't including boss battle levels, but this one does admittedly feel a little bit like a boss battle because of the Thunderjaw right at the end. It legitimately feels like a mini boss battle in a way. And yeah, it's pretty sweet. One other thing I forgot to mention is it also makes reference to a bunch of other things. Like if you look carefully enough, you can see Horace in the background, which of course is probably the main machine before the world basically fell apart in the old times. You've also got some of Aloy's weapons in games, such as the Tripcaster, which can be used to fry enemies if as long as you don't destroy them, or as long as you don't get yourself killed by the Tripcasters or the enemies. Which I think that's a really neat mechanic and definitely a nice little reference to the games. You've also got a Tallneck, which is wandering around as well, and you actually do need to get on top of the Tallneck, which I've also found a quite fun reference, because in the games you have to climb the Tallnecks in order to basically scan the environments, and the way it's done I think is maybe a reference more to Zero Dawn than Forbidden West, but there is definitely it is definitely a very fun level. And yeah, this was the level. Well, going into Astrobot, Aloy was the main character I was wanting to get for the bot collection, and yeah, it didn't disappoint. It was absolutely worth the wait. So yes, enjoyable level, Horizon themed. So yes, this is without a shadow of a doubt for me my favourite level in Astrobot.